So as I mentioned in my last video, I did purchase a original condition #1 Enfield from Royal Tiger Imports. It was on sale, cost me $3.99, so I figured I would take a shot. And this box has been opened. It was opened at the FFL. Basically do all the paperwork, get the serial number off it, but other than that I haven't inspected the weapon yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I get. So let's kick it out of the box. Came well wrapped in bubble paper again. Again, it was already open when I picked it up, so there might have been bubble wrap and other stuff in there that got tossed, but this is what I got. Looks to be in pretty decent shape. I don't see any shipping damage to it. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. So here it is. Take a look at it, starting with the buttstock. Looks like the brass butt plates a little dinged up, but as expected. Only thing really see here is it this top screw here. It's pretty worn out, so it doesn't have the slot in it anymore. So if I were to take that out, I'd probably have to cut a new slot, like a Dremel or something. Buttstock's dirty, but looks pretty good. I don't see any cracks or anything. Really major chips. You can see real quick. We got here. A little hard to make out, but so far I do see a date. Looks like 1941. It's pretty cool. Good looking crown too. Bluing looks decent. Magazine looks decent. Looks okay. Bluing's pretty worn out on this center band right here, but not really surprised. And then this part here is pretty worn out too for the bluing. So looks good so far. We'll go ahead and flip it over. Here it is flipped over. Buttstock looks good. Wood just looks dirty. Don't see any major damage to it. Of course, it's got the import mark on the side of the receiver. Pretty much all Enfields I've seen, that's where they put it. The center band's pretty much got no bluing left on it. Not a lot of bluing here either. I did take a peek at the bore. The bore is actually, looks pretty good. It looks a lot better than the bore I have on the Yugoslavian refinished K98 that I have. So I'm pretty optimistic about it. I'll take a picture, sort of a before and after, and clean it up. But I'll go ahead and take this thing apart, take a look at all the parts in it, and then I'll start cleaning it. So I got all apart, got all the parts laid out. See, they're pretty dirty. Took apart the bolt. To take apart the bolt, you need a special tool. You could make one or you could buy one. See, so it has these two little teeth on it, and these teeth actually grab onto the firing pin here to pull it out. Basically unscrews. A lot of the parts, I mean, they're dirty, but the parts look okay. Just looking at the threads, the firing pin here, they look good. and on. This looks good. The only thing that I've seen, I'll probably replace this screw. I had to oil it up really well and work it to avoid damaging the screw further, but it looks like at some point in its life someone really kind of started rounding out the screw, so I'll probably replace that. And the wood is pretty decent. Under the wood it looks like there's a bit of, I'm sure those white spots are, it could be mildew, but I'm not sure. It'll all get cleaned off anyway. You can see a small crack here, probably make it out. Doesn't look like it's a huge deal right now though. Magazine looks good. There's the trigger guard. It's dirty, but I don't see like any pitting or anything on it. Same with this rear sight blade here. Pretty filthy under the wood. A lot of dirt and grime. You can see under there. Similar to the K98 I got, or at some point there's some bug growth or something in here. But yeah, I don't see anything moving or alive, so yeah, I kind of zoom in, you can kind of see them. Long dead. The wood looks like it's in decent condition. I don't see anything that should be cause for alarm. Action's pretty filthy, but I don't see any damage or anything, any serious pitting or anything. A little bit of rust and just dirt and grime, but nothing that else that won't wash off. Some oil. I'll have to see how it looks under all this dirt and grime, but it seems to be okay so far. So basically hit this with a whole bunch of oil, clean it up, see how it turns out. You might have some trouble taking off this forestock. Basically it should slide right down, shouldn't go out, should just slide down. If you run into some trouble, the best way to get it off is just if you could put the buttstock, pat it, and put it in a vise, and then basically take a piece of wood and just use that wood to, with a hammer to tap the wood, to basically just taking turns on each side, tap this thing down and out, and eventually it'll come off. It's just a lot of this grime here gets kind of tight around the stock here, and then especially if the wood expands, it just gets really tight on the receiver here, so might have some issues getting that off. Always make sure that you take the forestock off before the buttstock. I don't think you'll be able to see it right now, I'll show you later, but this stock bolt's actually square right here, and it actually fits into the back right here. So if you actually try to turn this bolt with this forestock on, it'll actually crack it. So you want to make sure you always take the forestock off. I did try to take the buttstock off, but that bolt is pretty stuck in there. So I'll probably oil it up a little bit, let it sit, just kind of take my time with it, and just eventually work it out, and then take the buttstock off. I also found that on the butt plate, this piece was pretty rounded out here, so I had to get a really thin screwdriver in there to basically pry this up and lift it up. So again, like I said, I'll go ahead and oil all these parts, clean them up, and then come back and report back what their condition is. Okay, so checking back in, did a bit of cleaning, quite a lot of cleaning actually. It was pretty filthy and took quite a bit of time, a lot of oil, a lot of rags, Q-tips. The stock bolt was a pain to get out. I ended up having to take this buttstock, and I have a video on it on how I did it for one of my Martini Henrys, but it required me to put it in a vise and make sure you pat it, obviously, and use a long screwdriver and a wrench together to get it out. Yeah, a lot of these parts are just pretty dirty. I got them reasonably clean. I'm going to just give it some time for some more of that oil to work its way in there. Soften up some of that crud. Got the bolt apart, cleaned it out. I did notice that the firing pin has, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but has something going on there. Or it looks like it's been filed, basically right here. So I'll probably end up replacing the firing pin. I might just go ahead and replace the spring too. The retaining screw that goes in here, probably replace that. Have all the little screws in here so I don't lose them. Magazine's lost a lot of its bluing, and especially where it was exposed. The stock was super dry. Took in a lot of, quite a bit of linseed oil. Took the first coat, just soaked it right up. So I have to apply a little bit more over time. There's that nose right here, a little pitted on the outside, but nothing serious. Still kind of dirty. Again, the rest of the stock, same issue. Overall, I mean, it's not in bad shape, just really dirty. I mean, clearly it's been sitting in less than ideal storage conditions. And there's probably a few parts I'll end up having to replace. I'll go ahead and clean out the bore a little bit, and then I'll take a picture of it and show you guys. So here it is, all cleaned up. The butt plate, there's a screw right here. It doesn't have a slot in it, so I'll probably have to cut one with a Dremel to get it out. I'll probably end up replacing both screws since they're pretty rough. Stock looks pretty good. I do have to get a new washer for the stock bolt. The stock has a little bit of play to it, and that's because the washer is missing. As far as the markings, put a little bit of chalk on it. It's kind of shallow, but you can see 1941 shortly. B, I believe, is for Birmingham. The bolt works well, but the firing pin in it, at some point it looked like someone had shaved down a part of it. I think I showed that in the last video, but I have that replacement for that on the way. Bluing's pretty much gone on the exposed part of the magazine here. I did see a very small crack here in the stock, but it doesn't go all the way through, so it looks like just a surface crack. Some minor pitting here, very, very minor, very shallow. It's missing the wood here. There's supposed to be two pieces here that meet, and without it causes this part of the forestock to be a little loose. Not the end of the world. It's pretty common on Enfields. The bluing's pretty much gone on this band, and there's a lot of bluing missing on the nose piece right here. Alright, so flipping it over. So the other side, not much else to report from this side. I will be replacing this screw as well. It's pretty worn down. This screw back here that holds the firing pin in place, I'll be replacing that since it doesn't fit flush. Bluing's pretty much gone on the magazine. You can really see where, it had been exposed in comparison. The magazine, it just being out here, just was exposed to the elements and just lost a lot of its bluing. Same for the other side of the band here, as well as the nose cap. But the stock's in pretty decent shape. Put some linseed oil on it. Came out really nice. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it'll help you make a more informed decision on whether or not you'd like to roll the dice and get a original condition #1 Mark III Enfield from Royal Tiger Imports. Please feel free to like and subscribe.